Good morning, dear students. Today we shall learn about the Chinese civilization. Chinese civilization began along the Yellow River in the Shang era and spread from there when Bronze Age culture reached its peak. Then traditional Chinese philosophies such as Confucianism and Taoism developed in the feudal Zhou era as China expanded in territory and population. And also they say that China has two major rivers. One is known as Huanghe, it's also called as Yellow River, and the other is called Yangtze River. The Yellow River is known as the sorrow of China since it changed its course and caused frequent floods. So these frequent floods really affected people, and so they called this river as the sorrow of China. And the next, some evidence we find, evidence for the prehistoric Peking man was Yom Yom man exists in China. Neolithic communities lived in China between 4500 and 3750 BC. And also they say China had many city-states and gradually these states became part of an empire. The Henan province in the Yellow and Yangtze River Valley contain evidence for Neolithic villages. So let's learn about the polity and emperors. Some great emperors were there. Usually they call the emperor had the title Son of Heaven. And here we learn the famous ruler Shi Handi, which means the first founded the Qin dynasty. So he was the one who was called the Son of Heaven. His title was known as like that. He is considered to be the first emperor of China. So his period is between 221 and 206 BC. Is also known as the imperial era in China. So he defeated the feudal lords and established a strong empire. He conquered other principalities in 221 BC and remained the emperor till 212 BC. Shi Handi destroyed the walled fortification of different states and constructed the Great Wall of China to protect the empire from the invading nomadic people. He also built roads to integrate the empire. So let's learn about the Han Empire. So the year is between 206 and 220 AD. So let's learn. Han dynasty was the second imperial dynasty of China, preceded by the short-lived Qin dynasty and a warring interregnum known as the Chu Han contention, and succeeded by the Three Kingdoms period spanning over 4 centuries. The Han period is considered a golden age in Chinese history. So during this period, a written history of this empire was made available in China. The greatest of the Han Empire, Wu Ti the Great, 141 to 87 BC, expanded the empire and built many public amenities including irrigation tanks. So he was the one who sent Zhang Qian as emissary to the west in 138 BC and thereby paved the way for the opening of the Silk Road in 130 BC to encourage trade activities. So very often we have seen when you go to the textile shop, they also say some material as China silk like that. So China from the beginning we have learned about that they had a good China silk product and they have exported to many of the countries, and we learn about the Silk Road. Because of the Silk Road and the resultant trade connections, China benefited immensely during the rule of Emperor Zhang, 75 to 88 AD. Chinese silk was much sought after by the Romans during the time of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius in 166 AD. So, and also they say even we had relation with those people, with the Chinese. It's said that some of the Chinese silk might have reached Rome through the ports of Tamilagam, they say. So let's learn about the terracotta army. It's completely a different thing, and we find the army was buried along with the king. Let's learn about it. The terracotta army, it refers to the large collection of terracotta warrior images found in China. So they depict the armies of the Queen Shi Huang. So they buried with the king of king in 210 to 209 BC. It's also been found at the northern foot of the Lishan mountain, 35 kilometers northeast of Jiangxi province, as part of the mausoleum of the king. So you can see in the picture there how they have been buried and the people are there standing over there. Then let's see the philosophy and literature. So the philosophy and the literary works that got very well developed during the time. Chinese poets and philosophers such as Lao Tzu, Confucius, Mencius, Mo-Ti, and Tao Ching contributed to the development of Chinese civilization. Sun Tzu, a military strategist, wrote the book called The Art of War. The Yellow Emperor's Canon of Medicine is considered China's earliest written book on medicine. It was codified during the time of Han Dynasty. The Spring and Autumn Annals is the official chronicle of the state at the time. So let's learn about Lao Tzu. So he lived between, we can say, 604 to 521 BC. He was a master archive-keeper of Chao state. So he was also the founder of Taoism. He argued that desire is the root cause of all evils. And you might have heard even about Lord Buddha. It's somewhat a little related to Lord Buddha. He too said, so desire is the cause for all types of evil. The same point, it's related to that. So let's learn about Confucius. So he lived 551 to 497 BC. He was famous among the Chinese philosophers, a great political reformer, so we can say. He insisted on the cultivation of one's own personal life. He said, if personal life is cultivated, the family life is regulated, and once family life is regulated, national life is regulated. So his name means Kong, the master. So let's learn about Mencius. So his period, if you can say, 372 to 289 BC. He was another well-known Chinese philosopher. He traveled throughout China and offered his counsel to the rulers. So students, we can say during those time many of the philosophers were there, so they really contributed so much, and their books are still being read by the people, and really people got a lot of information, and it was really good for their life. And let's see some of the script here. Chinese script. Chinese developed a writing system from an early time. Initially it was a pictographic system, and later it was converted into a symbol form. You can see in this picture there. So the script, it was written on the bone actually. So the script, it was a pictographic, we say. So some symbol like it looks. So it became very famous, and those days people were like that, and we find some of the bones and which are kept in museum now. So some more contributions, let's learn about the Chinese civilization. So mainly we find 4 important contributions of the Chinese civilization. So number 1, we can say a writing system was improved. So the second, invention of paper. So because of this invention, the whole world, we can say, we really got a lot of development, some sort of development in literary basis. The next, opening of the Silk Road. So it really helped in trade. And the fourth one, invention of gunpowder. So in many more war, whatever they had, people started using the gunpowder, and this invention was made in China. So Chinese people, the credit goes to these Chinese. So students, by this we come to the end of this lesson, Chinese civilization, and in the upcoming lesson, let's learn about Indus Valley civilization. So I'll meet you in the next class, Indus Valley civilization. Thank you.